So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. Now today we'll be covering 12th September 2024's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. The purpose of this lecture series is very simple. It's basically twofold. Number one is that you get to revise your current affairs. Okay, you must have read the newspaper from this day, or you must have watched our lecture called Daily News in Shorts, in which we summarize all the important news items of the day. You must have covered that day's newspaper, 12th September's newspaper, but you need to revise them also for consolidation of current affairs in your preparation. Okay, so that you are able to consolidate your current affairs, you need that revision, and through this lecture series, I'm just going to provide you that. And the other more important purpose is that you get the much needed MCQ practice, because it is very important if you're serious about clearing your prelims examination for any civil services exam, whether it's UPSC, UPPSC, PCS, any civil services exam. You need to clear prelims, and to clear prelims, you need MCQ practice. Now, mind you, this MCQ practice would cover current affairs alone. For other subjects, for MCQ practice of other subjects, static subjects like polity, history, geography, well, we'll be covering those MCQs in a separate lecture. All right? Now, let's begin without much introduction. Let's straight away jump to question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. It is the world's largest health insurance scheme fully financed by the central government. All Indian families are eligible for rupees 5 lakh per annum for secondary and tertiary healthcare. Now the scheme has been expanded to cover 70 plus age senior citizens. How many of the above statements are correct? Now look, Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana is the world's largest health insurance scheme fully financed by the government. Okay, so this part is absolutely correct. The incorrect part is the word central over here, because the expenses for this health insurance scheme by government, the expenses are basically shared between center and states. For normal states, it is 60% central government and 40% state government. For Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal, Uttarakhand, it is 90% central government and 10% state government. Okay, and for union territories that do not have their own legislature, well, it is 100% financed by central government. So the expenses are shared. The entire burden for this scheme does not fall on central government. So because of this word central alone, this statement is false. Now, also remember that under Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, under this health insurance scheme, eligible Indian families, they are eligible for 5 lakh per annum per family for hospital expenses. Okay, so they are eligible for 5 lakh per annum for hospital expenses. Okay, but remember, the important word is eligible families. Okay, not all Indian families are covered under this. Okay, around 40% of the bottom Indian families, bottom means bottom of the economic pyramid. Okay, bottom 40% of the Indian population, Indian families are covered under this. Okay, not all Indian families are covered under this, because the rich families can afford their own insurance. Okay, now these eligible Indian families are identified as per socio-economic caste census. Okay, but yes, they are eligible for 5 lakh per annum. So this is also false. Now, why was Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana in the news? The reason was that the government has expanded the scope of this scheme. The government has basically expanded the beneficiaries of this scheme. Now, 70 plus aged senior citizens are also covered under this scheme. And this was recently announced by the government of India. Therefore, this part is correct. Only one statement is correct, and the option is A. Question number 2. Which of the following statements regarding salt pans in India are correct? Nearly 60,000 acres of area has been designated as salt pans in India, with Andhra Pradesh having the maximum area. Most salt pans fall under CRZ 1B category, where only salt extraction and natural gas exploration is allowed. Salt pans prevent flooding of coastal cities. Okay. Select the correct option from below. Now, what are salt pans basically? Salt pans are low-lying areas in the coastal regions. Okay. They are so low-lying areas, they're so low-lying that sometimes seawater enters these areas and then leaves, leaving behind salt and other minerals. And that is why these salt pans are used for salt extraction by locals over there. Okay, so these salt pans are low-lying areas of the coastal region. Clear? Now, these salt pans are very important. Why? Because these salt pans, because of their low-lying nature, they actually prevent flooding of urban areas, especially the urban coastal areas. Okay, so they are very important. Now, India in total has 60,000 acres of designated salt pans. Andhra Pradesh has the maximum area under salt pans, followed by Tamil Nadu and then followed by Maharashtra. Okay, so this statement is correct. Now, most of these salt pans lie under the category of Coastal Regulation Zone 1B, CRZ, Coastal Regulation Zone 1B category. Now, all the areas lying under this category, well, on these areas, no economic projects can be sanctioned. Okay, no economic projects can take place on these areas which are designated as CRZ 1B, except salt extraction. So, salt extraction is allowed, and natural gas exploration is allowed. That's it. Apart from these two vocations, no other economic project is allowed on CRZ 1B. And salt pans fall under CRZ 1B. This is correct. Now, salt pans prevent flooding of coastal cities. I've told you this before. So, this is also correct. All statements are correct. The correct answer is D. Question number 3. Consider the following statements regarding Amazon rainforests. It is a vast biome that spans over 9 countries: Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana. It provides an important ecological service of acting as carbon sink, which aids in mitigation of global warming. Which of the above statements are correct? Now, Amazon rainforests are the richest biological resource on our planet. They are rich in biodiversity, both flora and fauna, and they provide a very important ecological service. They act as carbon sink because there is so much flora in this biome. There are so many plants in Amazon rainforest that these plants during photosynthesis capture carbon from the atmosphere. And that is why Amazon rainforests act as net carbon sink. And that is why, because of Amazon rainforests, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is low. Had there been no Amazon rainforest, well, global warming would have wreaked havoc because the amount of carbon would have increased. Now, these Amazon rainforests are currently endangered because of economic activities, right? And that is why they are in the news, because we need to preserve them, because they are the important lifeline for the planet, right? Now, it is a very big rainforest. It spans 9 countries, and these are the countries: Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana. Okay, French Guyana is a French overseas territory of France under French control. So this is also correct. This is also correct. Both are correct. Okay, and last, consider the following statements under Directorate General of Trade Remedies. It is a quasi-judicial body that functions under Ministry of Finance. Its main purpose is to suggest trade remedial measures to Government of India. Which of the above statements are correct? Now, Directorate General of Trade Remedies basically comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It doesn't come under Ministry of Finance. Okay, it is a quasi-judicial body, but it comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay, now what is its main purpose? Why is it called quasi-judicial body? Well, DGTR basically takes a look at India's international trade. Okay, it investigates various countries who import or export goods or services from India. And by investigation, at the conclusion of their investigation, they suggest certain remedial measures to the government. The government should take certain corrective action so that India is not harmed because of this. India is not harmed economically because of this import-export trade, right? So it conducts investigations and suggests remedial measures, trade remedial measures. This part is correct. Only 2 option is correct. The answer is B. And with that, we come to an end of this lecture. We conclude this session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I hope it has added value to your preparation. Though it would add more value if you're consistent and regular with this lecture series. So on the hope that you're consistent and regular, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you next time with next day's current affairs through MCQs. Thank you, everyone.